So now that I've pretty much dug into student loans a little bit, now let me talk a little bit about another big news story. Has to do with PPP loans. Now let's understand something. Let me throw in my little anecdotes because I have to do this. I have to do a little bit of sidetracking. I got to do a little bit of anecdotal. The payroll protection plan, these loans were basically supposed to be for when the government forced businesses to shut down. These were loans that were supposed to be taken out by business owners who had employees on payroll so that the business owners didn't have to basically lay off these employees. Short little story, and I've probably told this before, but depending upon whether or not you're new, you might not have heard this before. So during the pandemic, I was at Micro Center and I was buying computer parts. It just so happened that there was one of in my community, there's a woman and she owns a business. She owns a restaurant. And she was purchasing a computer. And I saw her purchasing a computer. I said, hey, what's up? And everything. She recognized me. I recognize her. So I started talking to her and I was like, listen, you want to get this computer right here. You want to get this Core i5 with this SSD that's a terabyte. And it'll be able, it has a swivel. It was a Hewlett Packard model. It had a swivel top and everything where you could make it a tablet. Because what had happened was she had a cheaper laptop. And I think it either broke or fell or broke or whatever it was. So I was basically giving her free pointers about what to get. Because, some of the salesmen will steer you in specific directions. But I was like, listen, this is what you really should get. This will have longevity, so forth and so on. So at any event, long story short, while she and I are buying this laptop, because it's her money, she's buying the laptop, I'm just giving her the free pointers. During the process, I saw her bank account. Now, she has a restaurant in the community, and she had, I think it was like 3 workers. She basically laid them all off. Now, she could have taken out a PPP loan. She was like, I'm not taking out any loans at all. So she basically laid these people off and told them, yeah, listen, I don't need you right now. If I need you, later on when this pandemic is over, you can come back. I looked in this woman's account. This woman had basically $700,000 between 2 different accounts. She had basically $700,000. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, on the one hand, I do understand why she's not willing to take out any loans because she doesn't want to take out any loans to have to pay back. But on the other hand, I think it's really sad that this woman's got this kind of money. She's got almost damn near $1 million in cash, and she laid off her workers, and her workers are basically going to go on welfare now because this wasn't a very expensive restaurant. So her workers going to have to go on basically fucking welfare, and the taxpayers are going to have to pay for their asses too, along with everything else. And basically, that kind of bothered me. But see, I see it from her point of view. As a business owner, I own a business. I don't like having to pay people and everything. But fortunately, I didn't have to lay anybody off. Long story short, that's what these PPP loans were for. But intent almost never, especially this day and age, equals impact. Intent does not equal impact. When I find myself on the internet arguing with people about whether or not America's a capitalist society, it's like y'all have either you either don't care or you pay no attention to it, but this place is so socialist at this point. Let's just understand this. They were willy-nilly handing out loans that the taxpayer was going to be on the hook for. This is the very definition of socialism. Not to mention that the government itself forced businesses to close. There were so many businesses that I can think of that closed down and couldn't or didn't reopen. And when I think about it, these businesses didn't even have to close down. Right now, they're trying to scare you about monkeypox. People are still walking around no masks. People are walking around, as if nothing ever happened. And they're trying to get you to worry about monkeypox because basically they keep on coming down with these infectious diseases because they need an excuse to make it so that they can justify mail-in voting so that they can try to get these Democrats into office or they can try to reelect Harris or whoever runs in 2024. So you're not fooling me. I already see the scam. I see it a mile away. But bottom line is this. It's like these PPP loans, I knew personally to stay far away from them. First of all, I remember how in the past the government has done things like this and it's almost always abused. But when I saw how quickly Trump signed these PPP loans into action and I saw how people were quickly signing up for them, it was like I knew right then and there. I was like, yeah, there's going to be some serious scams behind this shit. Now, it was obvious to me that this was no different than the 2009 bailout. They throwing out the money in this supposedly capitalist society. They're throwing out taxpayer money, printing up all these fucking checks. And it seemed to me that what they were doing was, it was like the big oligarchs got their money first and the rest of the crumbs were left over for the PPP loans. And I also want you to remember something. Out of the money that was passed for this COVID relief, it was only a small percentage. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head because we used to argue about this on these stupid Manosphere panels. But it was only a small percentage out of the overall amount that was actually going to regular homeowning Americans. A large amount of money was for the airports, the airplanes, the aviation industry. A large amount of that money was for businesses, and a lot of it went to this PPP shit. But then you started seeing on Instagram, you started seeing people buying these luxury cars. You started seeing people all about it. Like, now keep in mind, real rich and real wealthy people, they would never, during a fucking pandemic, they would never spend their money on Rolls Royces and Lambos and shit like that. But what you started to notice was all of a sudden on Instagram, people flashing money, piles of money. Like Floyd Mayweather, it was like they were laying in piles of money. You saw people buying Lamborghinis. You saw people buying $300,000, $400,000 Rolls Royces. You saw people just flashing and spending money and everything. Now, the belief, I think, partially could have been, oh, yeah, well, you know, I invested in stocks or Bitcoin or something and I got wealthy really quick. But even that didn't add up. Turned out a lot of these motherfuckers were taking this PPP money, cashing this shit out, and they were flashing it off. Or they were using it to buy cars. For example, because I want to get to these stories. I'm not going to do all these stories because we already know plenty of PPP loan fraud existed. So look right here. You got California CPA pleads guilty in PPP loan fraud scheme. So you got a tax attorney, and this motherfucker's a cheat. Because you got to understand, a lot of these CPAs, a lot of these tax accountants, a lot of these people, they thought that they were smarter than the system too. Problem is, they don't seem to understand auditors exist, and auditors will get you. Was the Paycheck Protection Program effective? I might read that later. PPP loan fraud prompts firing of 16 in Chicago housing agency. PPP program was awash in fraud. Now one lender may finally face a legal reckoning. And I think it says the name of this lender is Cabbage. And I remember Cabbage too because from what I remember, Cabbage had popped up as something that had to do with, like, I can't even remember. I think it had something to do with, like, fucking, like, debit cards or some shit. Cabbage made its name processing loans for businesses in a matter of minutes. Paycheck Protection Program was one of the signature federal economic blah, blah, blah. But the program, which tasked banks and other private lenders with processing applications, was beset by fraud from its earliest days in the spring of 2020, with some recent estimates suggesting that more than $117 billion of the $780 billion, now they're the numbers. So out of $780 billion, only $117 billion went to ineligible businesses. So these are some solid numbers right here. I'm not going to really read this. I'll probably just leave you the links. But the thing about it is this PPP shit was so filled with fucking fraud that, first of all, I said, nah, I'm staying away from this. I'm not doing this for my employees. I don't even want to touch the shit. So when I really think about it, I totally understand the reason why that woman with the business stayed away from it, because she didn't want anything from government at all. Not to mention she was a foreigner. And foreigners are very distrustful of things like this. So I'm not surprised one bit. So the overarching story here, August 5th, Biden signs legislation giving prosecutors more time to charge PPP fraud. Any statute of limitations that would have existed, Biden, as the head of the executive branch, the president of the United States of America, he actually does, in this case, have the power, because he's the executive branch. He executes the laws. He is basically the top cop. He's coming after every single one of you who was stupid enough to do this shit. He's coming after you. Now, we were arguing this morning about Biden signing into legislation that says, yes, $600 or more if you've earned it, the IRS is looking into you and everything. First of all, regardless what you've heard, the reality is that you're supposed to file taxes every single fucking year. But see, here's the problem. A lot of y'all who are on these internets and you're making money on this Cash App shit. See, one thing I gotta like about YouTube makes sure that any money that you make gets filed into the 1099 you get from YouTube. But with this Cash App and this fucking Coinbase and Robinhood, these things popped up, and a lot of people thought, oh yeah, well, I'll make all my money on Cash App, and I'm not paying a dime. Fucking government's like, yeah, we're coming to get your ass. So Biden, whether or not Biden told the government to look into every single transaction regarding $600 or more, mostly this was due to Coinbase and all of these little wallets and shit. Because the reality is, I knew, and this is another thing, I've talked about this hundreds of times when I make fun of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency always struck me as a very easy way to launder money. The government ain't fucking playing with you. They know how much money you make. They know how much money you've got in crypto. They know where you've got it. They know how much is attributed to you. You got some people who make money and they try to go to foreign countries. I could name people. Go to Thailand. They think they're going to spend on Bitcoin Cash and they're not going to pay taxes in America. Let me tell you something. Government's watching and they see you. You know, technically, you're not supposed. One of the benefits of crypto, you're not supposed to take more than $10,000 US cash on an airplane. But when you have a crypto wallet, you absolutely can, because the wallet is all digital, nobody can see it, blah, blah, blah. But these people really think that they can have that kind of money overseas and spend it and that they'll never have to pay taxes on it. It's like, that shit ain't true. You go to Thailand, you go to Puerto Rico, you go to Cambodia, you go to Philippines, they watching you. But these people just don't get it. And that's one thing I've never, ever done. I have never, ever not paid taxes. I have filed my taxes every single year since I started working, and without fail. These people think that they can make money on the side and never have to pay the tax. Now, if you're dealing in cash, it's possible to hide your wages. But if you're dealing in digital payments, it's like there's so many records that are left behind. You can't hide that. With this PPP loan fraud, Biden is coming. The bills, which passed Congress with strong bipartisan support, extend the statute of limitations for fraud cases involving government-backed loans. One of the two would specifically bolster the ability of prosecutors to bring charges in connection with Paycheck Protection Program loans that non-banks made to small business owners. There were some people who were lying about their businesses. They were saying they had like 30 and 40 employees. Next thing you know, the person gets locked up. Oh yeah, they bought a brand new Tesla. They took those funds and they bought some Lamborghini Uruses or a Lamborghini Aventador. These people are so ridiculously stupid. It's like, of all of the entities you could steal money from, how fucking dumb do you have to be to steal from the U.S. government? I mean, come on. But they thought they could get away with it. Now they know they can't. Too much of small business relief funding, which was passed by the Congress, ended up in the hands of those who either didn't need it or criminal syndicates who outright stole the money. Let's go back. There was another story I heard. So yeah, Biden's coming after you. He's going to get you. What is this? After returning its first $10 million PPP loan, Potbelly gets its second $10 million loan forgiven by the SBA. Baltimore man indicted on charges he faked PPP loan and EIDL loan application. Baltimore man. Yeah, Baltimore man. Man, this guy. 37-year-old defendant Daniel Lamar Antonio Hayes Jr. is alleged to have submitted false... And by the way, let's understand this. Not only do you get hit with fraud, but you also get hit with wire fraud because you had to submit this shit through the computer. Like, if you do a loan thing and you commit perjury, if you do it over a cell phone or if you do it over the computer, the internet, you get hit with like 3 different charges. You could get hit with tax fraud. You can get hit with wire fraud. You can get hit with perjury. Like, it's just so much shit that... But some people need to get those millions of dollars in cash in their hands so that they can flash it on Instagram, but they're willing to go to fucking federal prison. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. The federal grand jury returned the indictment for the federal charges of wire fraud, money laundering, and aggravated identity theft. Let me just, I'm going to say it again. When you do something like this, you commit fraud on the internet, you basically get hit with 3 different charges. So when they come after you, they're never usually coming for 1. They're always coming for 3 at least. They can get you with more than that, but you're always going to have a minimum of 3. The reason why is because as soon as you hit that enter button, that's wire fraud, and they've got you on wire fraud automatically. Money laundering, well, depending upon how you did it, what your MO was, yeah, they can get you with that too. And it's like they got you on 3. They always get you in 3s. The 6 counts, this guy got 6, stated that between March 2020 and October 2021, Hayes submitted several fraudulent economic injury disaster relief loan applications, EIDL. He also submitted several Paycheck Protection Plan loan applications to the Small Business Administration and 2 financial institutions listed as unnamed banks. The indictment was announced by United States Attorney Eric L. Barron. So this dude's done. The mere fact that you're even reading about it, this dude's done. It says, on the basis of false and fraudulent information, the SBA approved Hayes' EIDL application and provided Hayes loan funds on behalf of DNL. The indictment also alleges that Hayes claimed to have company expense of $15,000 and equipment costs of $35,000 when the company had been inactive since 2019. Additionally, within the EIDL, Hayes allegedly stated that he was not on probation at the time of the filing. Stupid. Again, this is something else. I can give you the link for this because I tell you, there will probably be thousands of these stories. So me reading a couple of them doesn't even really matter because there's more to come. A lot more to come. Las Vegas businessman stole 11 million in PPP funds to fund. What did he buy? Let's see. Do they got pictures? I hope they got pictures. I want to see what he bought. Stupid motherfucker. You going to jail forever. Stupid. I want to see what he bought. Okay, so it says Las Vegas businessman title for building a thriving company is accused of stealing 11 million. Do you know how big your balls have to be? Let's look at this guy. To steal 11 million from the U.S. government. I mean, that's like begging them to just kill you. Like, it's incredible. So I don't want to play that video unless I do the fair use thing.
We're talking about.
We're talking about 11 million of your tax dollars. That's according to court documents, going to buy a Tesla, a Bentley, and properties across the valley.
This
loans, the money meant to help small businesses stay afloat during the
see
pandemic.
what you
Instead,
bought
according to
that was
criminal
worth
documents
going to
from
jail
IRS
for.
investigators, it went toward
Oh,
houses,
shit.
cars, and
So this dude.
investments.
Whoa. That's what I wanted to see. This
Investment.
dude, the stupid motherfucker.
Court documents.
This dude got
According to criminal
Tesla,
documents from IRS
Tesla
investigators,
Model
it went
3,
toward houses,
Bentley
cars,
Flying
and
Spur.
investments.
property. He bought a house. Wait. Let's go back. You stupid
Court documents say
motherfucker.
applications for
Let's go
investments.
Back. Stupid. What else did you get,
investigators,
stupid?
it went toward houses, cars.
Okay, so you got real property. And it said an impersonal criminal money judgment, 11,231,186. Yeah, you see, this is what I'm talking about. You dudes were so desperate to get a Tesla that now you're going to go to the booty house, the federal booty house. Y'all so desperate to get that Tesla. Damn. All you had to do was do like me. All you had to do was work hard, put in a pre-order, and you could have gotten your car maybe a couple months from now, but you wouldn't have had to go to jail for it, you stupid motherfucker. Stupid. He built a thriving flooring business out of the ashes of the recession in the late 2000s. Oh, Des Fooley. The guy's name is Des Fooley. That guy doesn't sound American to me. Who identified himself as the manager and owner of Best Floors, inflated the company's employee count and payroll. And see, this is what bothers me. It's so obvious that in order... See, you know what? How should I best phrase it? Lying about the number of employees that you have in order to get more PPP money is no different than the people in 2001 up to 2007 who lied about how much money they made in order to get larger mortgages. It's the same shit. And then there were mortgage brokers and bankers who lied about the customer's income, lied about the customer's work history in order to get these loans made because they were going to make commission off of it. So basically all of these people, now what's funny is most of these bankers, they didn't get charged with wire fraud. They didn't get charged with money laundering. But this time around, the bankers aren't really involved. This time around, it's dumbass consumers who are stupid enough to lie. So y'all are going to jail. The bankers, most of them, they got off. They ain't going nowhere. They're not going to jail. Not them. No, they're not the bankers. Not the congressmen who allowed this shit to happen. Not them. They're not going. You going. Des Fooley's application for a PPP loan said Best Floor's average monthly payroll is about $440,000, and he needed to cover 76 employees. 76 employees, really. Investigators said in court documents, Des Fooley had a quarterly payroll of less than $1,400 and one employee. So he had a quarterly payroll of less than $1,400 and one employee, but he said that he needed to cover $440,000 and 76 employees. Yeah, you going to jail, buddy. You're going to jail. By the time you get out of jail, I'm going to be in Bora Bora sipping Buko juice out of some young islander girl's navel. You are never getting out. You will never see the sun in that federal prison. Like when you look up and see the sun is going to be behind a fence, and you're never going to You're never going. You're never getting out. Stupid, just stupid. You bought that Tesla Model 3. I hope you enjoyed plugging that shit in, motherfucker. Because now you're going to be getting plugs putting you in the federal booty house. Stupid. Stupid. Just so stupid. Also, in April 2020, investigators said Des Fooley applied for a PPP loan of nearly $1.5 billion through a second company, which he identified himself as the CEO and owner. That company, called A-Series, Ass Series in the booty house. That's what it is, Ass Series. Had 10 employees according to state records in 2020, but Des Fooley reported having 96 employees. You had 10, you reported 96. Brilliant, you dumb motherfucker. An additional loan for A-Series said the company had paid more than $7 million in wages in 2019. As part of the application process, Des Fooley submitted a fraudulent NV Energy utility bill. So they got you for a goddamn fake-ass utility bill, too. More wire fraud, basically. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I could keep going into this Des Fooley, but this guy, as far as I'm concerned, you know what you are, Des Fooley? Milad Des Fooley, because it says all this shit right here. It tells you about the guy, where he lives and everything. As far as I'm concerned, this guy doesn't even exist anymore. You know how they say that you're supposed to have mercy and you're supposed to have, sympathy for criminals and shit? It's like I ran out of that shit. As far as I'm concerned, if you're stupid enough, and I want you to just remember these people, because, we're busy arguing, oh yeah, America's capitalism, America's socialism, whatever. We're busy arguing over that. And here I am living as like a regular middle-class person, making money honestly. But here you are stealing money, driving your Bentley Flying Spur. You got your Tesla Model 3. You got a gigantic house. I bet that house probably looks like some shit out of Cribs, where you got the wrappers with the pools in the front and the back of the house. I could imagine what that place looks like. You probably got those marble floors like Wolf of Wall Street, where you walk in and you got that staircase that twists and shit and goes upstairs and everything, and you got your Tesla plugged into the side of your house. Let me tell you something. When they strip you of everything and they throw you in that cell, I almost wish you could be listening to my video, me talking about you. It's just like in that movie, The Wizard of Lies, Bernie Madoff. I don't have any sympathy for Bernie Madoff or his sons. Both of his sons supposedly died. One hung himself. The other one died of cancer. Bernie Madoff died of natural whatever causes. I don't remember exactly. I think he had cancer too. I ain't got no sympathy for those people. They did worse than steal from the government. They stole from regular people who put their life savings into this person's hand. They destroyed the wealth of a lot of people. And they ruined a lot of people's lives. Now, China would have taken them, all of them, anybody connected to it. They would have taken them into a field, and they would have put 2 bullets in the back of their head, and then they would have sent their family to bill for the bullet, and they would have stripped them of all their finances, all that. We put Bernie Madoff in jail. He walked around in circles till he died, and then his sons killed him. Well, one of his sons offed himself, and the other son died of cancer. But when I think about these people who do this shit and get away with it, it's like, listen, you know what? I don't give a fuck how many people the IRS hires. First of all, we live in a criminal justice system where everybody is guaranteed a speedy trial. Everybody has the rights of Miranda rights. Everybody has the rights not to have cruel and unusual punishment. Because I swear to God, if it was me in charge, I'd have these IRS agents pulling up on you like in the Matrix. I'd have Agent Smiths with Desert Eagles under their coat pulling up everywhere. And God forbid Pookie or Ray Ray try to run or try to fight back. Oh, you're getting killed on the spot. But it's not really that serious. I'm just talking about all the people whose lives were ruined by these scam artists. Every single time they find one of these scam artists, they should put them to death. I'm sorry. They just should. because, there's a lot of old people on the internet, and these people don't know any better. They get scammed. There's a lot of young people on the internet, and they do stupid shit like buy Shiba Inu and Dogecoin and everything, and they get scammed, and they should have never had a Robinhood account in the first place. They shouldn't. But this is what happens. And the sad thing is, it's like, I just want to put an end to it. I want to put a swift end, a permanent end to it. But this is just what you're dealing with. This PPP. Like, for instance, let's see, PPP Lamborghini. This motherfucker took his PPP money. Why can't I do this? PPP Lamborghini. Why can't I? Man purchased Lamborghini after receiving $3.9 million in PPP loans. They don't have a picture here. I want to see the picture of it. South Florida man charged with COVID-19 relief fraud buying Lamborghini Rolex. See, all these motherfuckers, and it's sad because they're so predictable. They buy the same shit. Louis Vuitton. You remember I was making fun of Louis Vuitton in the last goddamn video. That Gucci, Prada, Femi, and that Louis Vuitton. These guys are so predictable. It's like I should have been an IRS agent. Fuck my job. I should have been an IRS agent, and I'd roll up on you with the Desert Eagle, cocked, 50 caliber, cocked, waiting for you to get out of line. Got my cuffs out, cuff you, throw you in the car and shit, take you down to the booty house, and just wail on you, man. It's like, this is ridiculous. These guys are so stupid. They're so stupid. Wait, let me see an image. Any images? Where's the image of the Lamborghini? I want to see it. I want to see the car that puts your ass in jail. That's what I want to see. Because I'm pretty sure I saw it before. Oh, there it is. There it is. Man bought Lamborghini with PPP. See, that's the sad thing about it. The rest of us are looking at these people thinking that these people are successful and that they've made it. Turns out these motherfuckers are scam artists. Think about that. Like, they got you following them, thinking that they're doing big and high mighty things, and these motherfuckers are goddamn thieves. That's what they are, thieves. Straight up thieves. Got the Lamborghini door up and shit. And by the way, the Aventador is old. They need to hurry up and replace that thing because that thing is old. In fact, what they should do is just make it bigger so that tall people can fit in it. But that's what these people got you all convinced that they're all... It's just like these Bitcoin scammers and these Ethereum scammers. And it's like they got you all thinking that these people are successful and that these people are honest businessmen and all that shit. Turns out these are some fucking thieves living on credit or debt that they stole. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Uh-oh, and what about that other guy? You remember that other guy who stole that money and bought a Tesla? Says, now look at this. This is the story. Why are some people using PPP loans to buy Lamborghinis? The reason may not be greed alone, psychologist says. I think it's greed and stupidity, honestly, as PPP fraud grows. Now, this was back in 2021. And they're talking about it. They're like, a Florida man pleaded guilty after he fraudulently got $3.9 million and used $318,000 to buy a Lamborghini. You see this shit? This shit makes me hopping mad. And y'all talking about how this is a capitalist country. My ass it is. Right. No. Oh, one more. Let's look at one more. PPP Tesla. What kind of Tesla did the guy get? I want to see the name. I want to see the picture. How Tesla stock and the PPP loan landed a man 4 years in jail. So this guy told Elon Musk, I want my Roadster. And he gave him money for the Roadster, and he still didn't get it. Where's this guy? There's a guy who he got himself a Tesla, and he scammed him. Day trader who used PPP money to buy Tesla stock is thrown in prison. An Oregon man, they say. So this guy is in Oregon. COVID fraudster who bought California property and nearly 16,000 shares of Tesla stock. DC man cops to using 2.4 million in PPP loans for Tesla and crypto. Another crypto buyer, huh? Really? Uh-oh. Okay, I don't have any time on that channel, whatever. So I'm not going to read that. So yeah, this is what it is. Man accused of spending PPP funds on a $100,000 Tesla and $1 million house. Yeah, that's Elon Musk dancing and shit. He's like, yeah, give me your money, guys. I made the Model Y. It's got bigger. It's got doors. That they it's not like the Model X's doors. All you got to do is just give us your your PPP loan money, and then so you do. So you should, yeah. And the car does 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds, and that's just the base model. Yeah, right. That man right there is the face of fucking corporate welfare in 2022. That man right there, you see that fucking face? That's the face of corporate fucking welfare. That right there. You see it? Told me this is a capitalist country, my ass. Socialist to the brim. What did the guy buy? He's buying Teslas and $1 million house. So here we are, we're busting our ass, working hard and shit, trying to stay honest. And you got thousands of people committing PPP loan fraud. Incredible. DC pastor bought a Tesla after fraudulently obtaining 1.5 million PPP. A Washington, D.C. pastor could be facing a maximum sentence of 20 years behind bars. Wow. Yep, and that's just what it is. That's incredible. Now, see, I'll tell you what these people should have done. If they were going to do the scam shit, they should have taken out enough money to pay off their student loans, because that would have been really interesting to see that money going in circles. But they had to seize almost $2.3 million from 11 different accounts and the Tesla. He bought himself. Oh, look at this. I love reading when these guys steal money and they buy all this stuff. Brooks allegedly purchased a 2017 Mercedes S-Class, 2017 Infiniti Q50s, a 2015 Escalade, a 2005 Bentley Continental, a 2018 Tesla Model 3, a 2014 GMC Yukon XL. My problem with this is, like, why are you buying all these old-ass cars? It's like, why the fuck would you buy a 2017 Mercedes? Why would you buy a 2017 Infiniti? Like, this was May 2020. Like, why didn't you get these cars like 2020 models? Like, I don't understand that. It says, per PPP loan terms, such buys are not considered an appropriate use of provided money. Yeah, well, when you hand money to people like that, you have to assume that they're not going to use it properly. Incredible. Basically that's the gist of this shit. Let's see, the biggest fraud in a generation, the looting of the COVID relief plan known as PPP. This should have never, and see, the mistake that the government made, the main mistake was that they didn't send out investigators before handing out the money. The government literally said, yeah, all you got to do is sign this form and send it in and we're going to hand out money. You know when else they do that? They do that with student loans. That's the reason why there's 1.7 trillion in student loans. That's why. When the government is handing out these student loans, all they're saying is, yeah, just sign on the dotted line and we're just handing the money out. They don't know how smart you are. They don't know if you're a D student, an F student, a C minus student. They don't know. They don't care. They're handing out this money and you're signing for it. And that's just it. They bought Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and Bentleys, and Teslas, of course. Lots of Teslas. Many who participated in what prosecutors are calling the largest fraud in U.S. history, the theft of hundreds of billions of dollars in taxpayer money intended to help those harmed by the coronavirus pandemic, couldn't resist purchasing luxury automobiles, also mansions, private jet flights, and swanky vacations. When I go on vacation and you see me on these business class flights, and you see me flying to Bora Bora or Maldives or Seychelles, you can trust that my money was earned. My money is not PPP loan fraud. I'll never have to look over my back and worry about the fucking government knocking down my door. The rest of these dudes, I can't say that about these dudes, because these dudes, you think they're successful, you think they made it and shit. They flashing all that cash. Next thing you know, they got the PPP loan fraud. Incredible. These dudes are going away forever, and they deserve to. They deserve to. 20 years, they might as well give them life. Prosecutor said Mustafa Kadiri. Now, does that sound like an American name to you, Mustafa? Mustafa Kadiri? No, it kind of doesn't. Used money from the Paycheck Protection Program to buy 3 cars that cost 6 figures apiece, including this 2011 Ferrari 458 Italia. 6 figures apiece. Even if the highest estimates are inflated, the total fraud in all COVID relief funds amounts to a mind-boggling sum of taxpayer money that could rival the $579 billion in federal funds included in President Joe Biden's massive 10-year infrastructure spending plan, according to prosecutors, government watchdogs, and private experts who are trying to plug the leaks. I think the thing that bothers me more than anything, and I'm about to wrap this up, because the thing about it is no matter what I say, there's going to be way more. Look at this video. There's going to be way more of these stories. These stories aren't going to start. They're not going to stop coming out. Uh-oh. I lost the page. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, yeah.
You don't have to
the
keep
thing
tabs
about
on
it is there's going to be
rotating
way more stories coming out. It's not going to stop. See, I think the thing that kills me is the fact that the paper trail means that all of this shit gets traced back to somebody. And the thing that kills me is that these people don't seem to understand that it's going to get traced back to them. One way or another. All right, let's see. Let's see this guy.
Yeah, we're using all of our tools to...
Where the trillions of taxpayer dollars went to the right place.
So our job is to let the public know how its money is being spent.
Horowitz's team of data scientists are plowing through 150 million records looking for red flags. Just one red flag? This building in San Francisco that they found listed on more than 1,300 different loan applications. Tips on suspicious loans are sent to a team of federal agents around the country who follow up on foot. The fraudsters are bold,
there's that
buying
Bentley.
luxury cars, flights on
Teslas.
private jets,
Ferraris.
mansions. But now, 2 years later,
houses.
questions are being asked. Why did some banks and lenders give loans to businesses that seemed fake?
What didn't happen was
So basically,
minimal checks to make sure that the...
I'm not going to dwell on this because it's already obvious what happened. These people are living lavish lifestyles off of stolen money. Well, I hope the government's got plenty of jail cells because these guys are going away. They're going away for a long time. So I guess that's basically it. Because I'm pretty much done. I can't beat the point home. Oh, look at this. January 6th riot who wore jacket with his last name on it pleads guilty. That's brilliant, you stupid idiot. Uh-oh, who? Look at this one. Oh, does she look American? The answer is no. Prosecutors say Danielle Miller used stolen identities to get more than $100,000 in economic injury disaster loans to the Small Business Administration and alleged that she spent taxpayer money at luxury hotels throughout California. Miller's lawyer declined to comment. Yeah, I wouldn't comment either. In 40 minutes, she had $100,000 in taxpayer money, court documents said. She soon booked a private jet from Florida to California, where she spent $5,500 at a luxury hotel. How about that? Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Gucci, Prada, Femi. Let me tell you something. I want to see this government lock all of these people up, all of them. In fact, they should all, like, the government should have like a TV show where they lock these motherfuckers up and they follow them on TLC or some TV show, and you get to watch them serve for the next 20 years. And if they ever do make it out, see them on the street, and you'll be like, hey, I remember you. I watched your show. And they're just like, yeah, well, thanks. Yeah. I lost a third of my life in prison because I was a thief and I stole all PPP money. Danielle Miller, accused of identity theft in an indictment by the Justice Department, posted this picture on her Instagram account 8 months before she was indicted. What'd they give her? I hope they give her so many years that her scooch rots. What is this? Hines got 6 years in prison. Gonzalez and other government officials acknowledged that for every person caught, many more have gotten away. No. You need to get them all. It's like Pokemon. You need to catch them all. All of them. Shit, if you hiring, I'll work for you, but I want to bring my Desert Eagle to work. Just like Agent Smith from The Matrix. Let's see. Miller's criminal record includes arrests in 5 different states, many of which were related to larceny and identity-related fraud. So what'd they give her? Miller pleaded not guilty, but court records now say she intends to plead guilty to an unspecified charge. She participated in a recent profile in New York Magazine that portrayed her as a child of wealthy Manhattan parents whose life was derailed by the circulation of a sexually explicit video when she was in the 8th grade. Honestly, I more so consider myself a con artist than anything. And this is her words. The magazine quoted her as saying, you know how they have that saying that you can sell ice to an Eskimo? If there's something that I want, I'm going to get it. See, this right here is the type of chick you see on Instagram and OnlyFans and this, that, and other. You know, I hope they throw her under the jail. No, just throw away the key. But yeah, so that's PPP loan fraud. I just had to, see, I figured I wanted to throw that in because I've been talking about student loans so much and indebted doctors and shit and people who are just generally fucking up their credit and everything. So they had a PPP loan fraud. That's what it is. That's where we've come to. Government handing out money and people misusing it. Now, I just want to ask you a last question. You got the government handing out money and you got the people misusing it, and the taxpayer ultimately is on the hook. I need somebody to tell me what part of that is capitalism. Please tell me. Because as far as I know, if you've got the government handing out money, people misusing it, and the taxpayer's on the hook for it, that don't sound like capitalism to me. That sounds like socialism.